My son asked me to teach him to drive 6 months before he was legally allowed to get his permit. I said yes. My wife never knew until the day everything fell apart. It started the summer Marcus turned 15. He came to me after dinner one evening, quieter than usual, and said he wanted to learn before his friends did, not to show off. He wanted to drive his grandfather to chemotherapy appointments when he turned 16, because Grandpa Ray refused to let strangers take him. I looked at my son's face and couldn't say no. We went out every Sunday morning to an empty industrial park 3 miles from the house. He was careful, methodical, nothing reckless about it. We talked the whole time, mostly about Grandpa Ray, about the war stories he told, about the smell of his wood shop. Marcus wanted those drives to mean something. I understood that completely. My wife Denise thought Sunday mornings were my gym time. I hated lying to her, but she'd grown up in a family where rules were walls, and I knew she'd shut it down before Marcus ever got the chance to understand why it mattered. Grandpa Ray died in February, 4 months before Marcus's 16th birthday. Marcus didn't say much at the funeral. He stood straight and shook hands with people twice his age. That night I heard him in his room, not crying, just completely silent, which was somehow worse. 2 weeks later he asked if we could still go on Sundays. I said yes. We went 5 more times. He barely spoke. He just drove, carefully, both hands on the wheel, and I think it was the only place he knew how to grieve. Then one Sunday in March we came home to find Denise's sister's car in the driveway. They'd changed brunch plans without telling me. When we walked in, Denise asked where we'd been. Marcus looked at me. I hesitated 1 second too long. Her sister's daughter, 9 years old and completely innocent, announced that Marcus had told her last Thanksgiving that his dad was teaching him to drive somewhere secret. The room went very still. Denise looked at me the way you look at someone when you're revising your entire understanding of them. She asked Marcus to go upstairs. He went without a word, but he looked back at me once from the staircase. She waited until we were alone. Then she asked me how long. I told her everything. The industrial park, the reason, Grandpa Ray. She didn't yell. That would have been easier. She sat down at the kitchen table and was quiet for a long time. You made me the person our son had to be hidden from, she said. I had no answer for that because she was right. I told myself the secret was protecting her feelings, but what I'd actually done was decide her feelings mattered less than my comfort in the moment. I'd framed her as an obstacle instead of talking to her. She slept in the guest room that night. I didn't try to stop her. The next morning, Marcus came downstairs before school and found me at the table. He asked if Mom was okay. I told him we were working through it. He nodded and poured himself cereal, and then after a minute he said, I should have told her too. I just didn't want her to say no. I told him I understood that feeling. I also told him it was the wrong call, and that I'd made the same one, and that we'd both have to sit with it. Denise and I talked for 3 nights straight, not arguing, actually talking, the kind we hadn't done in years. What came out of it surprised me. She wasn't angry about the driving. She was angry that I'd looked at her and seen a rule instead of a person. She said she might have said yes, or she might have found a compromise, but I'd never given her the chance. On Marcus's 16th birthday, Denise handed him a card. Inside was a note in her handwriting. I would have said yes. He read it twice. Then he folded it carefully and put it in his pocket. He got his license 2 weeks later. The first place he drove by himself was the cemetery. He didn't tell us he was going. He didn't have to.